Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new lesson. This is Half Beyond Numbers. In this lesson, we are looking at the divisibility rules. The divisibility rules. If we talk of the divisibility rules, they are just rules that help us to quickly check if a number can be divided exactly by another number. See, so if you know the rules, you can just take a number and then determine that, whoa, this number can be divided by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever factor you are talking about. In this particular lesson, we'll just be looking at that of 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Then in the subsequent lesson, we look at other numbers. So without much ado, let's quickly start with that of 2. So starting with 2, we'll look at the numbers one after the other. Then if we finish, we take some numbers to determine for all of them. We say a number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is even. A number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is what? Even. So for every number at all that you have, if you really want to determine if 2 can divide it, then the last digit should be even. So for an example, if we take 246, this here is the last digit. So far as it is even, then we can say that this number here is divisible by what? 2. You see, the most important thing is you checking your last digit. If the last digit is even, the whole number is divisible by 2. And talking of even numbers, we mean what? 2, 4, 6, 8, including 0 as well. All right. Okay. So you can just list some examples of numbers that are divisible by 2. The most important thing is they are even. So if we have 2, 4, 3, the 3 here is not an even number. Hence, this number as a whole is also not divisible by what? 2. Let's look at the divisibility rule for 3. Now, for 3, we say a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. If the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. So if you take a number, what you do is you add all the digits, right? So let's say, for instance, you have a number such as 372. And you want to determine if this number is divisible by what? 3, such that there will be no remainder. That's what we mean by it's divisible by it. All you need to do is to add the digits. So you add 3 to 7 and then to 2. And 3 plus 7 gives us a 10. Then plus 2 gives us a 12. 12 is divisible by what? 3. So that simply means this number here is also divisible by 3. As simple as that. Add the digits. If the sum of the digits is a number that is divisible by 3, then simple. The number is also divisible by 3. So if you were to add and get an answer that you are not even sure about, you can still add again. So 1 plus 2 gives us what? 3. And for 3, you can easily say it is divisible by 3. Right? So 3 is divisible by 3, which implies that this, which is from the 12, is divisible by 3. And if 12 is divisible by 3, then this that we got from 372 confirms that 372 is also divisible by 3. Let's now go to 4. Now let's look at 4. So a number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits form a number that is divisible by 4. So this is to tell us that for divisibility rule of 4, you can only use it for 3-digit number upwards. And hence, you are supposed to know all the 2 digits that are divisible by 4. You see? So, what this simply means is that if you have any number at all, let's take a number such as, before that, we know numbers such as 16, then you have your 18, then no, 18 is not included, but instead 20. So 20, then your 24, 28, all the way even to 96, right? So provided you know all the 2-digit numbers that are divisible by 4, you can apply this rule. It simply says the last two digits of the number you want to determine if it is divisible by 4 should be what? Divisible by 4. So for instance, if we take 516, our focus here is the last two digits. So our last two digits, as you see, is 16. So you ask yourself, the 16, is it divisible by 4? If it is divisible by 4, then it simply means this whole number here, which is 516, is also divisible by 4. That is 4 divides it without the remainder. If we take 588, or let me just say 788, our point of focus here is the 88. Is 88 divisible by 4? You see, if it is divisible by 4, yes, it is. That is 11. That is 22. So if it is divisible by 4, then we can easily say, okay, then this whole number here is also divisible by 4. That is how the divisibility rule works for 4. For 5, it is very, very simple, as you would see. So let me write that down. So for the divisibility rule for 5, it says a number is divisible by 5 if its last digit is either 5 or 0. So any number that doesn't end in 5 or 0, 5 cannot divide it. Hence, if we take 675, we want to ask ourselves, is it divisible by 5? Yes, because the last digit, the very last digit, is divisible by, or it is 5 or 0. Hence, this number as a whole is also divisible by 5. Meanwhile, if you take 678, it does not end in 5 or 0. Hence, we can't say it's divisible by 5. I hope that is clear. Yes. So any number you want, whether 5-digit number, so far as it ends either in 0 or 5, it means the number as a whole is divisible by 5 and there would be no remainder. Now for the very last one, after which we take some numbers and then determine their divisibilities, we have 6. So the rule for 6 says that a number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by both 2 or 3. You see. Now, I like to put it this way. We know any number that is divisible by 2 is even, right? So rather than saying a number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by both 2 and 3, I'd rather say a number is divisible by 6 if, first of all, it is an even number. If it is an even number and 3 can also divide it, then the number is divisible by 6. You see. So if you take a number such as, let's say, 123, or let's rather say 132. For this number here, we ask ourselves, is it even or can 2 divide it? Yes, because this 2 here is an even number, and that means all this is divisible by 2. Now, that is, it has passed the first test. The second test says it should be divisible by 3. And we know for a number to be divisible by 3, the sum of the digits should be divisible by 3. 1 plus 3 gives us a 4. 4 plus 2 gives us a 6. So our question now is 6 divisible by 3? Yes. If it is, then it simply means this number here has passed the test of it being divisible both by 2 and then 3, and hence it is divisible by 6. So with these rules, let's copy and then complete a table I'm about to draw. So now that we know the rules, we want to try and fill out this table. So we have our numbers here, and we want to test if they are divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So starting with 2, we have 456. And we said the number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is even. So is it divisible by 2? Yes, because our last digit is even. So it's divisible by 2. Should I write a yes? Okay. Let me just take. Then let's come to 3. We said the number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So over here, we have 4 plus 5, which gives us a 9. Then 9 plus 6 also gives us a 15. Is 15 divisible by 3? If you don't know, you can just say 1 plus 5. 1 plus 5 gives us a 6. 6 itself is divisible by 3. Hence, the 15 is divisible by 3. And so is 456. So we can take a yes. Then we come to 4. So can 4 divide 456? We said the number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits is divisible by 4. The last two digits we have here is 56. Is it divisible by 4? Yes. So we can hence say that 456 is divisible by that, right? And you can even ask yourself, how many times does 4 divide your 56? And that is 14 times. Then we come to the 5. A number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is 5 or 0. This here is not 5 or 0. Hence, it is not divisible by 5. We come to the 6. A number is divisible by 6 if it is both divisible by 6 and 3. For that, there's even no need to confirm because we have our 2 here and then our 3 here. It is divided by both 6 and then 3. So we can say that yes, the number is divisible by 6. If it is this table and you always have this and then this, that is under the 3 and then the 2 ticked, then automatically 6 also has to be ticked as well. So for the sake of time, let's just try this last one. Then I'll leave the remaining as try work you can also do on your own. So for the first one, we have 1. The second one, 1,235. Is it divisible by 2? A number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is even. The last digit is 5, it's not even. Hence, no. For 3, the sum of the digits should be divisible by 3. So 1 plus 2 gives us a 3, plus 3 gives us a 6. 6, on the other hand, plus 5 gives us an 11. And 11 is not divisible by 3. We all know that. Hence, we can say 1,235 is not divisible by 3. We then come to our number 4. A number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits we have here is 35. 35 is not divisible by 4. It is rather 36. You see, so since 35 is not divisible by 4, it simply means this number as well is not divisible by 4. A number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is 5 or 0. We have 5 here, so that makes it divisible by 5. Then we come to 6. A number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by 2 and then also divisible by 3. But over here, it is not divisible by 2 nor 3. Hence, it is not divisible by 6. This here is what we call the divisibility rule. With the divisibility rule, there's no need doing your long division to confirm whether a number can divide the other. All you need to do is to apply the test. And in this video, I've looked at that of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The remaining on the table is a try work for you to test your understanding. You can always let me know at the comment section if there's any issue of concern. If this is your first time on this channel, as usual, you can always choose to subscribe if you want to be notified whenever I release another video. Also, you can check my playlist where I have topics of all topics, where I have videos of all topics. You can also try your hands on and then learn as well. It's been nice having you. Stay blessed and bye for now.